Ladies and gentlemen, after what seems like 27 years worth of leaks on upcoming Samsung hardware, we finally today saw the full unveiling of both the S22 line of phones as well as the S8 line of Galaxy Tab tablets. And frankly, as much as I have tried to get excited for these pieces of hardware, and in years gone by, I would have been excited about them. But something has changed in me. Something has happened. And frankly, I just don't care anymore. Let me be clear about something though. This video is not going to be me telling you that these phones are bad, that these tablets are bad. It's not that at all. All I'm going to be doing here today is expressing a place that I have arrived preferentially. A place wherein just another iPhone clone, and yes, I said it, just doesn't get me excited anymore. So the first thing that Samsung did show off was the S22 and the S22 Plus. And these two phones, look, they look really, really similar to what we got last year with the S21 and the S21 Plus. The back end of them looks pretty much the same. The sizes are similar. I mean, yeah, we're bumping up to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. I'm sure there are going to be some new software features, right? There's going to be, new colors and things of that nature. But I'm just bored. I'm bored watching. I'm bored looking at these phones, okay? And look, I get the Samsung can't reinvent the wheel every time they make a new device, but I think I'm just past the point of caring about these slab phones. I've talked about this in the past. But for me right now, if your phone isn't doing something interesting, something cool, if it's just this thing again and again and again, I just don't care anymore. You can't get me excited unless it's like, oh, I can't believe how cheap this thing is for what it can do, or look at that crazy camera module. There's got to be some hook to it, and I'm sorry, but there's no hook to this. This is, I'm sure, going to be a solid phone, right? Sure, it's going to be a great phone, going to take good pictures, going to have good battery life. It's going to tick all these boxes. After that, they play this obscenely epic sets of videos, all this crazy stuff going on, like, oh, it's going to be this unbelievable thing. And I mean, look, it looks cool. This is the S22 Ultra. And we're going to talk about this for a little bit here because in my mind, the S22 Ultra it's a Note, okay? It's a Galaxy Note. Everybody spent all this time telling you, and I did this as well based on the rumors, that the Galaxy Note was going to be going away. And it did go away in name alone. This is a Note. It's shaped like a Note. It's squared off like a Note. It's got the S Pen with a silo. You put it in. This is, for all intents and purposes, a Galaxy Note. And for some reason, rather than just calling it a Galaxy Note, they've decided to call it the S22 Ultra, which is a move that I don't fully understand. We had prior a naming convention that made sense to me, right? If someone said, hey, what's that Samsung phone with a pen? You'd say, oh, that's the Note. A pen, you take a Note. That makes sense. Now, it's going to be, hey, what's that Samsung phone with the pen? And you're going to say, oh, the S22? No, not that one. The S22 Plus? Nope, not that one either. It's the Ultra. There's nothing about the name S22 Ultra that tells you that there is a pen involved, and I think that's dumb. It's not as bad as this, but it reminds me of like when Nintendo called the successor to the Wii U, and no one quite knew what to make of it. Like, is this an accessory for the Wii? Is this a whole new thing? What is this? And I feel like we're kind of in a similar place here where, again, there's nothing about the name S22 Ultra that says there's a pin. You just have to know that already. So maybe their marketing is going to be really good and it's going to make it really obvious that this is the one with the pin. I don't know. I did hear something that Captain Two Phones himself, Mr. Mobile, said on his quick preview of the S22 Ultra, and it was basically this, that he felt like the Ultra phones before, basically all they did to differentiate themselves from what I am calling a boring couple of phones in the Plus and the Standard, is they just upped the cameras. They put the cameras up to 10 and said, oh, it's the Ultra now. And he said basically that didn't really, for him, do enough to justify its existence. And then on the Note, the cameras had lately been a step back down, and then you just got the pin. And he said for him, that also wasn't quite doing enough to justify its existence. So you take the Note with the pin and the Ultra with the camera, and you put them together, and what you have as an end result of that is exactly this, the S22 Ultra, which is just the Note with better cameras. And I get where he's coming from with that. I really, really do. But in my mind, just don't call it an S22 Ultra. Call it the Note S22 or whatever it is you want to call it. Just call it a Note. That name is better. And if there's a phone that they announced at this event that I even care a little bit about, it would of course be the Note, because the Note does have the S Pen. And even though I'm someone whose handwriting is about as good as the average 4-year-old using their opposite hand, it's not something that I would use a ton, but it's cool that it's there, and they've got some really great features, in particular features that are using things like Microsoft's Office suite and doing some cool things there. That needs to happen here like yesterday. But there are a lot of really cool features in the S22 Ultra, right? I mean, the camera module is absolutely over the top, ridiculous, top of the line. The S Pen is a cool feature to have. So I think this phone does make some sense. You know, years gone by, I've not owned a Samsung phone for a really long time before my Fold. Okay, before that it was the S3, and the reason is because I just didn't think they were interesting. Everyone's just been making an iPhone clone since the first iPhone. It's just slab phone after slab phone, and I need innovation. I need phones to be fun. Another tip of the hat to Mr. Mobile. And look, I do think the S22 Ultra is a little bit fun. Look, it's miles more fun. Miles more fun? Can you measure fun in miles? I don't know, I just did. It's miles more fun than the S22 and the S22 Plus. So don't get me wrong on that front, but my point is that I'm just jaded on this stuff. I'm past the point of being easily impressed or easily excited by what is simply a refresh of a design that we've had for what feels like 37 and a half years. And I know that these phones then clearly aren't for me. I'm looking for something different. I'm a weirdo. I'm an odd guy. Look, I own a Surface Duo. Clearly that's the case. And for all you people saying, no, Shane, they're going to be great phones and you just don't understand. They're not for you. Here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering how many people are on their 9th phone that looks exactly like the phones I've just shown you, okay? They've looked the same, effectively, okay? And I get, oh, the screen's bigger. There's a hole punch for the camera. They're the same. It's a giant screen and then a camera, and that's it. It's the same thing. How many of you are on your 9th phone that looks exactly the same, and you're seeing this thing, and it's turned up to 10, right? The knobs, it's been turned up to 11, and they rip the knob off. And you're just like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care. If it's not doing something fresh and interesting, maybe you're like me. That's kind of the point I want to be making here. It's the question that I'm asking. And if anything the Samsung did today represents that better to me, the idea of an iterative update that you look at and you wonder, why does this even exist? Why did we even need a new one? It will be the Tab S8. And I can kind of show you that Samsung also understands that there's nothing interesting about the Tab S8 at all. Because if I go picture in picture, this is a 30-second long video, Tab S8 Ultra official launch film. There's the S8. Now, I'm just going to talk for a second while this video plays and tell me what you don't see in this video. I'm going to give you a hint. It's the tablet. They're not even showing, they're doing all this crazy nonsense about playing pianos and all magic tricks and so forth. The tablet's not even, it's barely in the video because, like, it's barely in the video because there's nothing interesting about the thing. That's your whole thing, is that it's bigger and they're like, oh my God. The thing is almost unchanged from the Tab S7, okay? The only thing that they really did is probably bad. They put a notch in the display of the Ultra and they made it bigger, okay? That's it. Why does this exist? I legitimately went to the purchase page and I looked to see what my trade-in would be because they are actually giving you the type cover keyboard with it right now at launch, which is great, okay? So I looked at this and I thought, well, if I wanted to get the S8 and I traded in my S7, it would only cost me like $100. And I stopped and I said, $100 for what? It's going to be indistinguishably faster because of the new processor? It's the same size? 120 hertz is the same? Why? Why would I upgrade? Clearly, these devices are not for people to buy every year, and I get that, right? If you've got an S21, they're not expecting you to buy an S22. Although you might be able to make a compelling case that that should be their intent. They should be intending that if I'm going to release a new product, it should be a new product good enough for people to want to annually upgrade, but that's going to come down to strategy and so forth, and maybe that's genuinely not their strategy. If you've got like an S8 and you're going to get a new phone, yeah, get the S22. But then there's also a part of me that's like, no, don't buy the S22. Buy the S21 when it goes on sale. It's going to be like a third the price, and it's going to be the same experience. There's this weird thing where we have to put out a new thing every year, and the difference, the upgrades are so indistinguishably tiny that when we market the thing, we don't even feel like we need to show it to you because there's just so little new to show you. And look, I'm being a little bit facetious because they do have other videos where they do spend a little bit more time talking about the hardware that's in it. Oh, it's got the new processor. Auto framing is kind of a cool thing that they're taking from Apple. I guess that's neat, but that's software. That's just software. Maybe the S Pen is faster. I don't know. Maybe some artist out there is going to be like, oh no, it's the greatest S Pen ever. I don't know. I just feel like at this point in 2022, we have like officially jumped the shark when it comes to slab smartphones. We are at peak phone. This is the most phone that I have ever seen. You can't make a phone any more phone than this. The knobs are already at 11, and we already ripped them off. There's nowhere else to go, and I'm just bored. None of this is to say that these things are bad, and none of these are to say that you shouldn't buy them. In fact, if you want to buy any of them, there are affiliate links in the description down below. Please do feel free. Please do share your opinions down below. I would love to hear where you're at. Did these things tickle your fancy, as it were, or are you with me? Are you all in on the foldy boy concept, and if it don't fold, you just don't care anymore? That's where I'm at. If it can't do something special, if it's not unique, if it's not different, just don't care. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.